President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday joined other Christian faithfuls for a Sunday worship at St. Austin's Catholic Church at Musongari in Nairobi. Father John Mbinda of St. Austin's Parish, Musongari, conducted the service and also delivered the sermon. The president was accompanied by his children, Jomo, Muhoho, and Njina. In Liberia, in continuation of celebrations marking Liberia's 166th independence anniversary, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has officially dedicated 3 facilities and renewed her commitment to girls' education. According to an executive mansion release, the 3 facilities dedicated around Montserrado County included the Young Women Christian Association YWCA, Girls Hostel in Oldest Congo Town, the Science Building in Bromley Mission in Clay Ashland, and the Girls' Dormitory at Riggs Institute in Virginia. Liberia President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has challenged institutions, particularly law firms and media institutions, to always seek the national interest first in the services to their respective clients. She said the output of these institutions will determine whether the national interest and security will be protected at all times. Moving over to Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan has called for further strengthening of the Nigeria-United States Bi-National Commission to make it an even more productive platform for boosting bilateral cooperation between the two countries. The president was speaking at an audience with the ongoing ambassador to the U.S. to Nigeria, Terence Macaulay, in Abuja on Tuesday, July 16th. Over to Zambia, President Michael Sata has launched the centenary celebrations of the city of Lusaka with a call to recognize freedom fighters that fought alongside First Republican President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda for the liberation of the country. At the same celebration, the president also launched the National Decentralization Policy. Now, in Equatorial Guinea, the official webpage reads, "Visit of the President of Guinea Conakry." On Thursday, the population of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea gave a warm welcome to the President of the Republic of Guinea, Alpha Condé, who led his country's delegation on an official visit to Equatorial Guinea from July 17th to 18th. Upon his arrival at the airport of Malabo, Alpha Condé was received with military honors by various authorities led by his counterpart, His Excellency Obiangwema Mbazogo. Equatorial Guinea statements of the new president of the Senate. The first Deputy Secretary General of the Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea, known by its acronym PDGE, for Administrative Affairs, Maria Teresa Efua Esangono, was appointed as the new president of the Senate, which was recently established in the country. The appointment, however, comes as a surprise to Efua Esangono, who expressed profound appreciation to the president, Obiangwema Mbazogo. Ghana, former President Jerry John Rawlings has called on the media to revise their approach towards the agenda-setting role they play in society. He said the move was critical for an incident-free Supreme Court verdict on the election 2012 petition hearing. Speaking at the National Peace Summit organized in Accra on Friday, he cautioned the media to infuse objectivity and truth in their reportage to promote national interest and sustain peace in the country. In Ghana on Thursday passed the amended Ghana Investment Promotion Center GIPC Bill 2013, revising the country's investment laws to reflect changing economic dynamics to guarantee optimum business opportunities and incentives for Ghanaian enterprises. For today, in the Republic of Sudan, global rights group Human Rights Watch on Friday accused the army of South Sudan of committing serious abuses against civilians in its anti-insurgency campaign in Jonglei State and of taking sides in a bitter and deadly inter-ethnic conflict in the respective states. The government portal of this country reveals the African Union High Implementation Panel, known by its acronym AUHIP, and the regional body Intergovernmental Authority for Development (IGAD) yesterday jointly launched an ad hoc investigative mechanism (AIM) to dig into allegations of support to rebel against each other by Sudan and South Sudan. The team is, however, expected to complete its findings in 6 weeks' time. South Sudan has started a gradual reduction on its daily crude oil production to avoid possible environmental impact resulting from a back pressure should Sudan go ahead and implement its decision to halt the country's oil exports. South Sudan's Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesman Mawien Makol Arik told reporters on Wednesday that South Sudan, through its embassy in Khartoum, received notification from Sudanese government regarding its 60 days warning to effect an oil shutdown decision. Moving over to Equatorial Guinea, audiences of the First Lady. On Friday, July 19, First Lady Constance Mango de Obiang received the Minister of Education and Science, Maria del Carmen Ekoro. During the event, the minister informed Constance Mango de Obiang about the sections included in the first seminar workshop on integrated education in Equatorial Guinea, a project in which all the social ministries of the country are involved. Over to the Republic of Botswana, government will construct a protection zone from Northeast District to Ngamiland up to the Namibian border to fight the spread of foot and mouth disease (FMD), as well as revive and protect beef and livestock industry, submitting before Parliamentary Select Committee that inquiries in the collapse of Botswana Meat Commission (BMC) and the beef industry in general on July 18. Minister of Agriculture Christian de Graaf said the protection zone is meant to separate green zones from red zone. In Rwanda, the government of Kigali on Monday, July 22nd, signed a power purchase agreement with Gigawatt Global Rwanda Limited to develop a first grid-level solar electric generating plant, the first of its kind in East Africa. Speaking at the signing ceremony held at the Ministry of Infrastructure, the minister in charge of energy and water, Engineer Emma Francois Isumbingabo, said generation and provision of electricity to all Rwandans is a priority for the government of Rwanda. Sudan, the Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir gave an unusual candid assessment of the situation in his country, expressing regret over the prevalence of bloodshed in Sudan and even prepared to be holding himself personally responsible. The Sudanese president stressed that people get punished in this life for all sins they commit, except murder, which has its retribution saved for the day of judgment. The government portal of this country reads a press statement whereby President Uhuru Kenyatta announced a task force to review parastatal policies, identify challenges, and propose a new policy direction for state corporations. The task force is to deliver its report within 6 weeks, but in any event not later than September 15, 2013. Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged cabinet secretaries and members of parliament, particularly the Senate, to work closely to ensure the successful implementation of devolution. The president stressed the need for careful management of the devolution process in order to guard against disruption of service delivery to the people. Botswana government has declared the year 2013-2014 a drought year following the drought assessment tour exercise conducted from April 15 to May 7th. The exercise confirmed that rainfall was poorly distributed and much below normal in most parts of the country. Thus, government concluded that the overall food situation in the country has deteriorated and has approved that the whole country be declared drought-stricken. In Sudan, the General Secretary of the Sudanese Communist Party, Mohamed Mokhtar Al-Khatib, has criticized a plan by the Khartoum regime to lift subsidies on fuel and sugar over the next few weeks. Al-Khatib also said that the move would finance wars ignited in Darfur, South and North Kordofan, and Blue Nile states, in addition to financing its security services. In Botswana, moving over to Sudan, South Sudan President Salva Kiir Mayardit has dismissed his first president and 29 government ministers. This was made public in a decree read on national television Tuesday evening, where Kiir also suspended the Secretary General of the ruling political party, the SPLM, Pagan Amum. In Mozambique, President Amado Emilio Guebuza holds conference on oil and gas. Mozambican President Amado Guebuza was on Tuesday, July 23rd, expected in Aberdeen, Scotland, the region belonging to the United Kingdom of Great Britain, to take part in a conference on investment opportunities in areas of oil and gas in Mozambique and visit infrastructures and services linked to both these areas, as others such as fishing, agriculture, and the like. Over to Zimbabwe, members of the African Union High-Level Observer Team began arriving in Harare yesterday with Commissioner for Political Affairs Dr. Aisha Abdullahi touching down ahead of the head of the short-term observer mission, Olusegun Obasanjo, and African Union Commissioner Chairperson Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, who are expected today. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday met leaders of the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, known by its acronym SUPKEM, and pledged his commitment to ensuring efficient service delivery to all Kenyans. During the meeting at the presidency in Nairobi, President Kenyatta said no Kenyan would be discriminated against regardless of their region, creed, or political persuasion. In South Africa, closing remarks by the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Jacob Zuma, on the occasion of the Forum for AFRIQUE 2013, titled Emergence of an African Middle Class, Conditions, Issues and Challenges, Congo-Brazzaville. He said the fact that we can talk of the rise of an African middle class means Africa is making progress and that the standard of living is improving. The Republic of Equatorial Guinea, the president places the responsibility for the scarcity of fuel in the country on the Total company. His Excellency Obiangwema Mbazogo was the protagonist of a spontaneous and urgent press conference to comment on the problem of the lack of fuel that the entire national territory is suffering, and which he attributed directly to the French supplier company Total. The motive of this meeting was to address the problem of shortage of fuel being suffered these days by drivers throughout the national territory. In Equatorial Guinea, a president of the United Nations General Assembly visits the country. Vuk Jeremic is the first president of the General Assembly of the United Nations that visits Equatorial Guinea to see firsthand the reality of the country. Heading a high delegation from the United Nations, Vuk Jeremic, who has been in Malabo since Monday, July 22nd, visited to attend a courtesy meeting with the head of state and government, His Excellency Obiangwema Mbazogo. In Equatorial Guinea, a delegation from Equatorial Guinea represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Agapito Mokwi, recently attended in Maputo, Mozambique, the ordinary meeting of Council of Ministers of the Community of Portuguese Language Countries, known by its acronym CPLP. The meeting was attended by representatives of member countries such as Angola, Brazil, Congo, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Sao Tome and Principe, and East Timor. Now in Sudan, the military has said Sudanese rebels from Darfur have attacked an army position in North Kordofan, killing at least 5 soldiers in fierce fighting. North Kordofan has been relatively untouched by the violence in Darfur and near the border with South Sudan. South Sudan denies charges it backs the Darfur rebels. Details of the battle are unclear, but it comes ahead of Sudan's deadline to halt oil exports from Sudan over allegations of rebel support. In Rwanda, the official webpage reads, on a 3-day visit to Rwanda, the head of the United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, Etarin Cousin, commended the government's rural development initiative that have improved the lives of Rwandans by making sure no one goes hungry. Cousin visited various projects funded by WFP, starting with Rukozo, Northern Province, where she visited the watershed management project. The project is working to control soil erosion and creating cultivable land terraces. The Prime Minister Diango Sissoko received the delegation of the Observer Mission of the African Union, led by Edem Kodio. The delegation visited on Wednesday, July 24, 2013, to pay a courtesy visit to the Prime Minister. Former Secretary General of the OAU and twice Prime Minister of his country, Togo, on this occasion expressed his joy and pride to be present in Mali. According to him, the presidential election will take place in a few days, which will mark an end to a long nightmare experienced by the Malian people. In the Republic of Cameroon, POSCO, the Ministry of Mines, and CNIC signed 2 MOUs with the Prime Minister. The South Korean group POSCO and the government have signed 2 memoranda of understanding in the steel sector. The ceremony was held at the Star Building July 23rd under the playful eye of Prime Minister, Head of Government Philemon Yang.